Welcome to another episode of the Brown Couch Bruhz.
Brown Couch Bruhz, here we go again, fellas. Let's get it.
Brown Couch Bruhz, one time.
All right, fellas, this is busy week in sports last week, but let's get into this tip off. And before we do that, in customary fashion, let's tip
it off.
What you got for a tip off with us, Jess?
Well, a tip off is usually things that we're probably not going to touch on through the episode, but things that caught our eye. And so what I want to go on is we may have another coach in the making coming. Eddie George, Tennessee State. That's right. They 9-3 overall, 6-2 in conference. They're co-OVC champions as of we speak. They're co-OVC champions, and that's good for the program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if Eddie George gets some guys in, he don't bring Louis. But if he brings some Gucci or some stuff, we can do that, man. We can bring Tennessee State back to promising, man. So, shout out to Eddie George and the Tennessee State program. I'm glad you guys did what you did. Y'all had a good season. And he's been building on this program. They played Notre Dame last year, so they're getting some exposure. So some good things is happening over at Tennessee State, man. Again, like I said, we may not touch on it ever again, but it had to be known today in the tip-off on my end because I'm a Tennessee State Tiger myself. So,
well, you know what? I'm going to piggyback off the tip-off of what you said since we're on HBCU. Ray Lewis, you got offered a job at FIU.
Turn it down.
He turned it down, but it's another opportunity, for a black man. It was another opportunity, actually, from my man, the safety, Ed Reed.
Ed Reed, yep. Mm-hmm.
He had a job for about a week. But once again, shout out to Eddie George and Tennessee State. So we moving and grooving. HBCU, they moving and grooving. They're giving black men opportunity to go entrench their souls into young black men at young black HBCU universities. So shout out to Eddie George.
Eddie George, way to go. Ohio State guy, too.
Ohio State guy, too. Heisman Trophy winner. Ohio State, legend.
So that's your tip-off?
That's my tip-off. My tip-off.
All right, so you're going to piggyback on his tip-off.
I'm going to piggyback on his tip-off. We're going to call it a tip drill.
Did y'all catch the latest season of Rhythm and Flow?
Okay.
On Netflix. Did y'all see it?
No, I didn't catch the latest season, the latest one. No.
Didn't catch it. So we got a rapper from Detroit, Detroit Diamond, who also happens to be a heck of a basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
Had the pleasure of coaching her in AAU when she was 12 years old. So she's representing the D really, really well. Her jumper is probably better than her rhymes, maybe. She's a heck of a basketball player, but also, obviously a heck of a rapper, and we wish her well going through that season. Hopefully she brings home the $250K. Get herself a record deal and continue to put the D on the map.
Put the D on the map, man.
But a heck of athlete. Heck of athlete.
Okay. I looked her up on Instagram when you mentioned it prior to the show, and she can flow.
Oh yeah,
she can flow. Definitely can flow. Shout out to Detroit Diamond. Go do your thing, girl. Represent the city well.
And if she had come to King, we probably would have ran off another 2 or 3 city championships.
She was that good.
You speaking high on that.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, man. We tried hard. RIP to Coach Winfield. We tried hard to get over at King, man, but wasn't happening. She ended up being a Cody Comet. So shout out to Detroit Diamond. Good luck on the rest of the way.
Good luck.
And hopefully she keeps that tradition of Detroit rap, because the rap scene in Detroit right now is at an all-time high. They hot right now.
Yeah, they are.
Here we go. So when this episode comes out, it'll be right around Thanksgiving. So any Thanksgiving Day game memories for any of you? What do you remember the most about those Thanksgiving Day games? This is a huge tradition in the city of Detroit, not just with our Lions, but other teams. But sitting around the dinner table after you've eaten, watching those Thanksgiving Day games, what are your memories?
Well, mine goes to, of course, I'm a Cowboy guy, so I'm going to take a Cowboy a little bit. However, it's more so John Madden and Pat Summerall announcing these games, the big games, and they weren't just Cowboy announcers. I mean, they've done some Detroit Lion games, and we can remember some big things in Detroit. Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken, Jerome Bettis came home and he called tails. And they gave him heads, and it just, that was ball game. They gave him what they gave him.
Right.
And and then you go to Detroit with the throwback uniforms. Dallas did it.
Bam.
Too. There you go. Dallas did it too. They tried to create a few things with their uniforms, but it just wasn't nothing like what Detroit did. And for years, guys had joked, take Detroit off the Thanksgiving, this year then flip. Now it's take Dallas off the schedule. And I'm kind of with that because I don't want to see them play the Giants at all. But, and it's just Thanksgiving is being a part of being with your family, watching football. One of the games is background noise. The other game you're all into, and it's just big, man. It's always been big. It's always going to be a big play. Always something strange happens, but and you will always remember it every time you see it, man. So shout out to Thanksgiving Day games. They did add a third now, and it's kind of random, who they use, but hopefully that makes some history, and it'd be something we can remember another year of Thanksgiving games. So that's why I'm at John Madden, Pat Summerall, the uniforms, just the nostalgia of Thanksgiving Day. Watch the parade before the game. And then go right into the game. It's all day television. So that's what I remember.
Let me touch on this real quick. Shout out to my cousin, Holly Ellison. She always hosts our Thanksgiving. And today, this year, our theme is wear your Lions gear. So we've never done that. But the Lions, the way
no reason.
No reason. We always watch the game, but everybody wear what they want to wear.
Yeah.
But so this year, she stressed that, hey, bring your Lions gear, wear your Lions gear. So shout out to my cousin, Holly. We'll be there Thursday with our Lions gear on, man. Lions have a great team this year, so go Lions. To your point with the parade, I can remember Mort Krim, Carmen Harlan. That was big, man. That was big.
Yeah.
Coming down Woodward, Thanksgiving Day parade. So shout out to the Lions. Hope everybody have a great Thanksgiving because we probably won't see y'all again until after this is taped. But happy Thanksgiving to both of you guys.
No doubt.
Thank you. And mine is pretty simple. It's not a favorable memory, but it's that 65-yarder from Aaron Rodgers.
The Hail Mary.
The Hail Mary, the Jones.
Right.
We had the game won. Lions had the game won, but 65 yards to Aaron Rodgers. In the waning seconds of that game, Green Bay beats the Lions. It seems like we've had so many of those losses and disappointments. I know that don't matter to you, Jess, being a Cowboys fan, but it matters to me.
Right.
How we've lost in the past, but man, it's just it's family, it's sports, it's good food, good eating. What more can you ask, right?
Lions football. That's
Lions
tradition.
football.
Tradition.
Lions football is tradition, and tradition matters in these parts of the country. So it's game time.
What you got for game time?
So let's recap this Tyson fight. Tyson, Jake Paul. What are your thoughts?
Well, it happened just like we thought, or we should have thought. A 58-year-old man getting walked around the ring by a 22-year-old guy or 27-year-old guy. No losers in the fight, although Tyson got the loss. Man walked away with 20
legacy at all.
No, but he walked away with $20 million. Feels good. Should feel good.
And his wife threw another $5 and gave him another $5.
Oh, bless her heart.
Yeah.
The sad part about this for me is that Tyson needed the money. He needed that $20 million. And for a guy with a storied career like a legendary career like Mike Tyson has had, it's kind of sad at 58 years old that this guy need to get back in the ring and get some money. I mean, it was clear to me that it was a money grab for Mike. I was glad he didn't get hurt, or at least it didn't appear that he got hurt. It's pretty impressive that at 58 he can still get in there, throw punches, and last 8 rounds.
Did he throw punches?
He threw a couple. He threw a couple.
He had 18 punches.
He threw a few.
He threw a couple.
That's what? They played box, 8 rounds?
8 rounds.
That's 2 punches a round.
What, 8 rounds, 2 minutes, 2-minute rounds. I don't think he embarrassed himself, but I saw a few times where Mike kind of slipped, like coming in that ring. he kind of slipped. He looked 58. Just his gait wasn't really where, obviously we're accustomed to seeing, but it was impressive from a physical standpoint for a 58-year-old guy to get in there, last that long, and not get knocked out. But just sad that Mike had to get in the ring with this guy at 58 years old because he needed the money.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Tyson could have beat that guy if he wanted to. I looked at the fight. I watched the fight twice. Tyson, the first 2 rounds, Tyson hit the guy with a jab, and the guy almost covered up and into a crawl. It's a reality TV fight. A 58-year-old man, Tyson could have knocked this guy out easy, man. It's like I said, my boy told me a week before the fight. My boy said, shout out to said by Boswell in Atlanta and Boswell Promotions. It's a money grab. Tyson got his 20, he got his 40. This guy's not a boxer. This guy is not a boxer. He's a reality TV star. And he making money off of that. And shout out to him for having the ingenuity to do it. But in my opinion, Tyson could have knocked this guy out if he wanted to, when he wanted to. Tyson didn't even throw any punches. And when he faked a lot of punches in the guy.
So when you saw Tyson walk in with the knee brace, and take it from a guy who wears knee braces, did you get concerned? Like,
no, because I already knew the fight. In other words, the fight it's a reality TV fight. Now, when Tyson fought Roy Jones Jr., I respect that more because Roy is a champion. This guy's a reality TV star. Tyson could have. That's like me and you going there. If me and you fought Tyson, yeah, he gonna knock at 58. He gonna knock us out if he want to.
So what you're saying about Jake Paul is if he met him at the mall,
Tyson would have kicked him.
There you go. That's what I'm like.
Yeah.
Well, if he met him at the mall, it wouldn't have been about 40 million.
It wouldn't have been 40 million.
Ask Miss Green.
But I think we all it's still 58 versus a guy in his 20s. And as much as Mike, you believe that Mike could have knocked this guy out, this guy 30 years younger than Mike. And speaking from a guy who watched those fights when Mike was in his 20s and in his prime, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, Mike was, fight was on, fight was off with Mike. And I think it's just a stark reality that sometimes our greats age right in front of us, and in our minds they think they can still do. We think they can still do what they used to do, but in reality, 30 years is a long time in between when Mike was in his prime and now. And this guy, young guy, man, although he's not a boxer, he's been boxing. He's been trained to box. And so I just don't know if that was a reality for Mike, that he could have actually knocked this guy out. The old man.
At the mall.
58?
At the mall, they would have got it.
All right. You didn't see what I saw. I saw Tyson hit this guy with a straight jab, and the guy damn near went back into his corner. It was like I almost wanted to say I quit. But once again,
well, I didn't see that. I think my neck.
Look at the first round.
You might have buffered.
I might have buffered. My Netflix froze up.
Buffer doing that.
It was like you say, 60 million views. 60 million views.
And if this is any indication of future sporting events on Netflix, man, they need to fix that. All that buffering during that fight, man, I could barely watch it.
Well, you had too many people watching. That's what caused it.
Well, they're gonna have to figure
buffer
it out.
Overload.
They're gonna have to figure it out. Aren't they hosting an NBA game? Netflix.
They doing the Christmas Day NFL.
Christmas Day NFL game. So they're gonna have to figure that out, man. They got to figure that out.
They got a lot of money over there.
They got a lot of money.
It was a poor showing for Netflix.
Yeah.
As much as it was a poor showing.
That was the only loser in that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. All right, Lions keep rolling. Win last week takes them to 9-1. What do y'all think about the Lions' performance, particularly Zadarius Smith's role, and what we think his role is going to be moving forward with this team?
I think he came in and did what we expected him to do. He put pressure on the quarterback. He moved the pocket. I think he ended up with a sack, or at least a half a sack. Mm-hmm. As far as the Lions as a team, we got the best team in football, man. We rolling offensively, defensively. Dan Campbell's pushing all the right buttons. We just got to stay humble, stay steadfast, and this team going to the Super Bowl. That's all I got to say.
This is hard for you.
Well, it's tough.
Kind of tough.
It's tough, but I know good football when I see it. They're 9-1 right now. I firmly expect them to be 11-1 in the next 10 days. You know, they got a game coming up against Indy. Then they got Chicago right after that. So I expect them to win both of those. Probably win both of those. Well, easy is
Convincingly.
Yeah, convincingly. Let's say that. So I do expect that. The 7-point favorites this week. And then next week they're going to be favored even 8 or better.
They're going to be favored every game they can win.
So with that being said, what they need to guard against is after being 11-1, again, like I say, I think they're going to be 11-1. They have to guard against the stupid stuff. And when I say stupid stuff, once you're 11-1, you're in a time where you like, okay, this is real now. We're the team to beat. Only thing that can mess this up is us. And so your guys got to stay on the straight and narrow. You know, you go home at night, go home. Don't go nowhere else. You can't have no stupid stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and am I talking to J-Mo? Not by himself, but anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stay out the way and just let this ship go smooth like it's going.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they will. I think they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough.
Well, in terms of Zadarius Smith's role, I think what last game showed me, and again, it was just one game. You know, he wasn't in on every snap on defense. But what he showed me was he's not Aiden Hutchinson. And what I mean by that is there's no slight on Zadarius Smith. But Aiden Hutchinson is elite. And you know, as much as Zadarius Smith's his addition to this team is a help, it's still not Aiden Hutchinson. And I think he's good enough to give us the type of pressure on the quarterback that we need. But we surely miss that elite performance from Aiden Hutchinson on the other side. Now, what I'm anxious to see, you know, fast forwarding a bit, is both of these guys in the game at the same time. You know, come next year, come next season, or whenever Aiden Hutchinson comes back. But I was happy with it. I was pleased with it. I think it's enough for them to get to the Super Bowl. I think it's enough for them to win a Super Bowl. And I also think that coming off of the week prior's performance, I think that what Jared Goff showed us last week puts him back in the MVP conversation.
I agree with your assessment of Aiden Hutchinson. He's elite. Probably was on his way to being Defensive Player of the Year if he wouldn't have got hurt. I would be remiss not to mention the new pickup, though, David Long from Miami, the linebacker. I think that was a steal. He was a 2-year starter in Miami, 4-year starter in Tennessee. You know, Anzalone went out. I think he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. So we have a guy that's capable of playing that role. And it might be if you ask me, it could be an upgrade.
Is it an upgrade?
Because this guy can't run sideline to sideline. He's more of a run stopper. You know, he's more of a run stopper. So shout out to Brad Holmes, man, picking up a guy right off the waiver wire.
And just
you know, it's like the rich just keep getting richer.
Man, I mean, I just can't believe that this guy is pressing all the right
buttons, man.
That
Pressing
is.
all the right buttons, man.
That he is. So my take on Smith, he didn't come in hot. And when I say that, is that if you ever went to transfer to a different school, you don't go into class and answer the first question asked. You kind of ease yourself into it. Watch him get better as we go. And get more acclimated to the team.
I can see that.
You know, he came in coaching, helping out, you know, and
he'll get more snaps this week.
Filling out the culture.
Yeah.
And he's fitting right into everything that's going on with it.
Mm.
So just watch him turn it up a little bit as we go.
I can take that better if they want 9-1 and the favorite to win the Super Bowl. But you gotta come in ready to go. Like, understand who you're quote unquote replacing, understand the position that the team is in, and understand what they need you to do. I don't need this dude to be coaching. I need this guy seeing the quarterback and going and getting the quarterback. And one game isn't isn't enough to really judge him in that way. So we'll see what happens this week against Indianapolis, but I'm expecting more.
I think
I'm expecting for a guy like that, 10 years into his career, this is probably his best opportunity to win. He needs to play like it. Like, this is my best opportunity to win a Super Bowl. I'm giving it all I got. I'm coming in. I'm going to have my best season that I've ever had. And so that's my expectation of him, considering the position that he's been blessed with. And so we'll see. We'll see as the the weeks progress. But I was a bit underwhelmed by what I saw from Smith last week.
Well, to Jess's point, I kind of gotta have to agree with him. The guy had just moved here from Cleveland. You got to settle in, and a lot of expectation is placed on him. But also, let this guy get grounded. Let him get. Of course, he wanted to probably play week 1, but that was his bye week. Dan Campbell gave him that out of respect because he know what kind of player he is. So I think, to Jess's point, let him get grounded. This week it will be the week, though. You've been here now 2 weeks. You played in the game last week, partially got you 20-25 snaps. So moving forward, to your point, though, I do expect his production to be a little bit more. So we'll see. And it starts today at 1:00.
Yeah, I mean, it's look, I got expectations. I want to see two sacks this week against him. I need 2.
Well, I think
that's capable. That's possible.
I think you see that.
That's possible.
I need 2.
Well,
right? And I need a number of quarterback pressures. Like, if he is not drawing the type of attention that we need on that side of the ball, then I'm gonna be disappointed. I need them to be concerned about his production going into this Indianapolis game for me to be convinced that this guy, is going to be a quality replacement for Hutch.
So you keep saying replacement for Hutch.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can replace a Hutch.
And that's what I'm saying.
So your expectation,
and he's got to come close to it, though.
But
he's got to get as close to Hutch as possible.
Because next year he'll be side by side.
What you're talking about is arguably the best football player in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he's not that.
On the best football team in the NFL.
But this
he's just gonna have
Smith
to
is not Aiden Hutchinson. He's not Joey Bosa. He's not a Nick Bosa.
That's what I'm realizing.
He was the number 2 guy in Cleveland behind.
That's what I'm realizing.
But do you realize he's better than what we had?
Yeah.
As far as prior to Hutchinson going out. Yeah. The guys we had, he's better than them.
I'm just asking.
So you got to put him in between the guys we had that was there when Hutchinson got hurt and Hutchinson. Mm-hmm. And that's his role.
I need to see more.
Well, get a guy opportunity.
I need to see more.
It starts today at 1:00.
It starts today at 1:00. We're going to see.
So you mentioned Jared Goff being back in the MVP race.
Mm-hmm.
So, he the 5 interceptions, of course, wasn't all his fault. But again, he's not. He is definitely leading his team. It's just not putting up the numbers that the guys that you're putting him up against are putting up.
What guys you?
Well, I'm looking at Allen in Buffalo, and I'm looking at Lamar Jackson. I mean, you got to knock him off his throne.
He didn't have a great game last week. He lost.
So not week by week, but just watch. It's a fine line between Jared Goff, MVP.
If the Lions go,
the best player in the NFC, whatever.
If the Lions go 14-3, 15-2, it does. Lord knows it goes 16-1. He's going to win the MVP. Period.
I don't know that that's true.
If they only lose 1 or 2 games, if they go 14-3, he's going to win MVP.
I don't know that that's true.
Because I don't see Baltimore, I don't see Lamar, that team per se matching the Lions' record.
Right.
Stats-wise, I don't see Lamar having as many. His stats not going to be better than.
What about
Goff.
Josh Allen?
I don't see his stats being better than Goff either.
I think what we're going to see is if the Lions went out from here to the Buffalo game, then that matchup with Jared Allen and Jared Goff is going to be key in the MVP race. I think people are going to look at that game and say, let's compare these two quarterbacks head to head, same matchup, same day, and let's see who's the better guy. I mean, I think we can both agree that Jared Allen's a better quarterback than Jared Goff. But MVP is not always the guy who's the better player. Sometimes it's the guy who's having a better season. And so, Jared Goff has the opportunity to have his team with one loss up to that game. And so I think that's going to have a lot of weight on it. But if you ask me if this puts him back in the conversation, I think it definitely puts him back in the conversation. He may not have the numbers. He may not have the talent. But it puts him back in the conversation.
But I haven't even heard the national pundits talk about Josh Allen as MVP. It's either Lamar or Goff.
I have.
I haven't heard. Now, yeah, Buffalo 8-2? They just beat Kansas City. But I haven't heard not as much as I've heard Jared Goff name mentioned as MVP.
Well,
is Jared Goff? Is Jared Goff or Lamar Jackson? Period. To me,
that's tough.
Period.
Well, if that's your comparison, then it's Jared Goff.
I mean, Josh Allen, don't get me wrong. Can he beat Kansas City in the playoff game on the road? Can he do that? He 0-4 against Mahomes in playoff games. He's 4-0 against Mahomes in regular season games. So what did that tell you? I haven't showed up for the big game yet.
Well, how far you want to go back with Jared Goff? I mean, do you want to
Well, at least
back?
Jared Goff took his team to the Super Bowl when he was with the Rams. They lost. But you gotta give the guy credit for taking the team to the Super Bowl. They were there.
Well,
we were half away from the Super Bowl last year, which wasn't no fault of his that we lost. So, yeah, I put Jared Goff ahead of Josh Allen.
Well, they're going to base the MVP off of what they've done this year.
And if so far this year, if the season was the end of the day, who was your MVP?
Between them two?
Them three.
Oh, them three. Josh Allen right now.
Okay.
For me.
It'll be a toss up.
It's
tight. And Jared Goff.
I'm not saying hands down by no means.
I think by last week's performance, I think Lamar Jackson sort of played his way out.
That
doesn't mean he can't play his way back in, but I think he played his way out.
When you beating teams by 2 touchdowns, and you the quarterback of that team, and you're 9-1,
you get the looks.
If the season end today, Jared Goff is. To me, is the MVP.
You get the looks.
At the end of today. But
we didn't win 9 games off Jared Goff's arm either. It's that offensive line, it's that running game, it's that defense, particularly that secondary. So I think when you look at MVP, for me, I look at how much does a team rely on your particular performance, your individual performance, to win, to lose games.
Let me give you a prime example of why I think you're wrong about that. My job at UAD, right? We had when our director presents crime stats to the university and to the president, we had 1 crime committed last year. 1 crime. Kid, rest in peace, he committed suicide. 1 crime. Out of the whole school year at a major university in the city of Detroit. You know who get the credit for that? Our director. Our chief, even though we out there doing the grimy work, we the linemen, we out there moving the whole, decompressing.
I see where you're going with it.
Stuff like that, we out there, we in the trenches. But when he presented, hey, this is what my department did. We had 1 crime last year. He get the raise, he get the bumping, he get the good job, Commander Gallagher, good job, Chief. That's how I go. So, and I say all that to say, and my high school coach used to say this all the time. And when you winning, the quarterback get all the credit. When you're losing, guess who get all the blame? The quarterback and the coach.
I don't think we have a disagreement on that. And I am giving him the credit. I just don't think it's enough credit to give him the MVP over Josh Allen overwhelmingly right now. That's all.
So when you say but do you acknowledge that do you have Goff ahead of Allen as the MVP candidate? And tell me what Josh Allen has done for him to supersede or even have his name mentioned with Jared Goff or Lamar Jackson.
They're winning off his arm.
And we not?
They're winning off his arm. And I think we have some success off of Jared Allen's arm, but I think it's that running game that's been the difference. And I think it's the defensive secondary that's been the difference. And I think when you look at the way that Buffalo's been winning, it's been Josh Allen being Superman. Running for first downs on third, using his legs to win games.
I get that.
Making all the throws. I mean, they've been winning off of his arm, and it's almost been solely. You can't name me one receiver from Buffalo that's had a great year. You can't name me. I mean, what are the running backs in Buffalo really doing? I mean, how great are their seasons
Cook
been?
is having a good year.
Decent, respectable.
I tell you what, you go put Hendon Hooker out there in that offense and see how many games the Lions win.
Well, I'm not disrespecting. I'm not disrespecting Jared Allen. No, I'm not.
Like you are.
I'm giving him his credit. And talent.
Okay, what about it?
Who's the most talented guy?
Josh Allen, Lamar
Okay.
Jackson.
So we know that from a talent perspective, that Jared Goff is behind those guys. I'm putting that aside and saying he's been able to manage his way, dink, dunk, make the right throws in the right times to get himself back in a conversation about MVP. I'm giving him his credit.
Let me ask you this. Besides Patrick Mahomes, name the last quarterback that won a Super Bowl that wasn't mobile. Every quarterback besides Patrick Mahomes has won Super Bowls that can't run. Brady, Stafford, those guys, the quarterback position is set up for you to go up there and read that stuff. Go to your secondary, your third receiver. It's not set up for you to be a scrambler.
I'm not asking him to do that. Like I'm not taking.
But what you're saying is the guys like Josh Allen, who more talented, the guys like Lamar Jackson, who more talented, they don't win Super Bowls.
I'm not saying that's
it's
not
the
my
guys
argument.
who can drop back and read it and throw it.
That's not my argument. That's not my argument. My argument isn't solely on his ability. My argument is this team is so great. They're playing so well, and so many different aspects of this team have contributed to wins. And I'm simply making a comparison to people like Josh Allen, where he's got to go out there and be Superman for the Buffalo Bills to win the game. And so because of that, he's been able to show more of his talent, and more of his talent has been on display, and more of his talent has been critiqued and praised.
But when Josh
More
Allen
so
had,
than Jared Goff's had.
But when Josh Allen had the talent that you say he lacks,
Couldn't get it done.
right?
We talking about this year.
It's all about this
It's
year,
1
bro.
year.
It's
But what
this
I'm
year.
saying, you can't have the apples and the oranges.
I don't want them
he
both.
is what he is.
I don't want them both.
If you put Josh Allen in our offense, are we 9-1?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I think you are.
I don't know.
I think you are
'Cause
because
we
of the
could be
talent,
10
the
and 0.
talent, the talent, the talent
Could
down
be
there.
10-0.
So to that, so it's gonna be a couple of games that's gonna stand out. And if you say, like you said, right now, a couple of games that'll stand out. If we had to do the MVP right now, the Tennessee game where they won, he threw for 80 yards, maybe.
Yeah.
No fault of his, because that was the yardage that he was given. He was getting the ball inside the red zone against Tennessee. Then Houston, although a win, still registers at 5 interceptions. So it's going to be games like that that's going to bring him back. He hasn't done anything that pops.
The guy threw 5 touchdown passes last week.
He pops.
The guy had a perfect quarterback
guys
rating
throw
last week. That don't pop.
Guys throw 5 touchdowns.
Had a perfect quarterback rating.
I get that.
Last week. That don't pop.
He's had a couple of them. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm not taking anything away from his season this year. I think it has been outstanding. I'm simply saying right now, if you ask me, the vote goes neck and neck, 50-50 with him and Josh Allen. Simply because Josh
to me, it's
Allen
not even
has
close.
been
What was this?
forced to
It's not
do
even close.
it, and for
You said
the
not
team
even
to
close.
win.
It's not even close.
And I can't believe that.
Josh Allen will be probably come in third right now.
I can't believe it. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Right.
Bryce Underwood flips to U of M. Any surprises?
We talked about it before. Before he even, I said it. in the last podcast or the one before that, he would be a fool not to take $10 million. I think he got even a little bit more. And the surprising thing about it, the guy who donated the money, not even a Michigan alum. Larry Ellison, a multi-billionaire worth $231 billion, had nothing to do with Michigan. But because it's Michigan, like we said about that block M, it travels.
It matters.
It matters. So here you have a guy who gave or donated, as they say, to the program, and you land the number 1 player in the country. Shout out to Michigan and Coach Moore. Maybe that turned the program around.
You know, it doesn't hurt to get a phone call from Tom Brady on the other line of your cell phones every now and then too. So, you know, a lot of Michigan hands was able to turn this. You know, and to your guy, did you Ellis Brady? You don't think Woodson made a call? So it's guys that's part of the program, and I think they're deeper than a LSU program. When you
the
start
LSU coach could be getting fired. I mean, they're 6-4. I think Bryce was getting $6 million. They offered him 1.5 a year. So Michigan practically doubled that. Plus, and I think you mentioned it before, Honcho, you're at home. You're in your backyard. You're right down the street from Ann Arbor. So
now, if I'm not mistaken, he bringing some guys with him.
That's what number 1 players in the country do.
Yeah.
You're supposed to. You better.
Yeah.
You know, you got guys decommitting all over the country because this guy going to Michigan, I want to play with him. And so that whole offense is going to be.
I was going to say,
totally
this is going to change the whole set?
It should. Now, I would be surprised.
It's going to have to.
It better.
It better. Yeah.
You're paying for it.
Yeah,
you're paying for it. You should be the starter day one. One of my boys asked me the other day. He was like, "So what about because I think they had a 4 or 5 star already there."
No.
I said, "Well, you better get in the portal. It's a done deal right here.
It's over.
It's over.
This guy started from day one.
Start from day one. Period. Let him make his mistake. That's what Michigan State doing with this young brother, Charles. Let him make his mistakes now. Next year, Bryce, he'll come in, he'll be the starter day one.
Well, they basically made the decision that we're going to build around this kid for the next 3 years. We're going to build around this kid. We're going to give him every opportunity to be successful. Sharon Moore just probably kept his job
for at least 3 to 4 years.
For at least the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
They still got to win some games. You got to beat Michigan State. You got to beat Ohio State. You got to at least compete against Ohio State, who I think is going to be really good next year and next couple of years. Hate to say it, but I mean that's what it is. But you still got to win games, and I think this kid can help Michigan win games. If nothing else, you're getting butts in seats, keeping butts in seats, but you're getting the attention on the program that I think is sorely needed. That's probably crazy to say coming off of just a year away from winning a national championship, but here we are. It's a what have you done for me lately game, and when you're playing high level college football, that's what it is. And so I think it's great. It's great for the university. I think it's great for the state of Michigan. I think it's great for football in this area. I don't know who was the last homegrown quarterback that we've had with this much attention coming into Michigan.
Probably Devin Gardner.
That's been a minute ago since Devin coming out of Inkster. That's been a minute. But you know that attention, and I think this kid is as good as advertised from what I've seen. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
So they're gonna have to spread this offense out. I mean,
well, he gonna have to. You know, this kid can throw it. He can, decent runner. And like my guy said, Rico Beard, this move right here says what Michigan is telling everybody. We're bigger than the Big Ten now. We're trying to play the national championship.
Oh yeah,
we're trying to compete against Oregon, Ohio State, Alabama. This don't have nothing to do with the conference. We're trying to get up there and stay up there with the upper echelon every year. And 6-4. Okay, you had a down year this year. Can't go 6-4 next year.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
So you got to something that I think is important for our audience to know. I mean, if you've never seen Bryce Underwood play, and you're a Michigan fan, what's the comparison? Who would you compare Bryce Underwood to that folks have seen?
A Vince Young, somebody like a Vince Young caliber. He a big kid. He about 6'2", 6'3", Right now, he probably about 190. When he step on the field at Michigan, next year he probably be 210, 215. He can run it, he can throw it, accurate. So I would have to say Ben Sean.
Oh, say I was looking at the kid from Washington, Daniels, Jaden Daniels.
Oh, Jaden Daniels. Yeah.
I see that.
Mm-hmm.
I see that more.
I can see that too.
You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and ironically enough, the LSU connection. You know, I think they were
That's what
going
they saw.
for that. That's what they saw.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah.
Well, moving on from college football just a tad bit and going into high school football. As a former high school basketball player in the city of Detroit, it pains me to say that the state of Michigan is no longer a basketball state.
You always say that.
It is a football state. Detroit is a football city now. And we've got just recently both of our leading high schools taking their teams
to the finals,
back to Ford Field, back to the
Ford
championship game for the umpteenth time in the last 5 to 10 years. Your thoughts about Cass winning over CC and taking their team to the championship game at Ford Field, and then also Martin Luther King.
Well, I know you more
taking
connected
their
to
team
this.
back
So
to Ford Field.
Shout out to Coach Marb over at Cass. Them technicians back at Ford Field. Shout out to Coach Patrick over here around the block at King. I talked to Coach Patrick today on my way in. Gave him a big shout out and congratulations, man. You know, the grind, as we say, is real.
It's always
when it
been.
come down to Cass King, personally, you know that battle is everlasting. But when you have two inner city schools representing the city of Detroit, you put all of that aside because you want both of them to win it all. You know, both of them have won state championships in the past. They'll both be down there Friday or Saturday. And you know, once again, ball out Cass, ball out King with Coach Patrick, Coach Marb over at Cass. Once again, Detroit representing the state of Michigan.
Well, I think it's impressive that they've been able to, both Cass and King, to be able to year after year keep this thing going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're finding the talent. They're keeping the coaching staffs intact for the most part. And they just building off of it, man. They're changing young people's lives, sending guys off to great schools. And it's just continuously, you know, if you want to play football in the city, and you're going to either go to either Cass or King, you know, you pick your poison, which one you want to do. And just know the other one is going to be your rival. And it's going to be something that's going to be talked about, whether it be in high school settings, forums like this, barbershops. You know what I'm saying? You can cement your position in Detroit and PSL football. So shout out to both Cass and King, man. They keeping it going.
Well, I don't think enough has been made of the success that both of those schools have had. I think we sort of taken it for granted, just the success of those teams. I mean, I can remember having conversations about will they ever make it, you know, and all the calls, the bad calls that have happened to prevent that
I've seen it.
A fumble here,
He always had great teams.
fumble
down
there. I mean, these teams have historically had great teams that I think can make it. I mean, we can go all the way back to the Darnell Dickerson days, right?
Yeah.
Before that.
Even before that. And so
Henry Ford. We had a stretch of bad luck.
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah.
So.
And for Detroit teams to now really bust through that ceiling and customarily make it to Ford Field and make it to championship games and win state titles, I think the attention that it's bringing to Detroit football has been outstanding. Mm-hmm. We mentioned this on podcasts before, you know, about the local programs that have certainly helped to provide an opportunity for our kids to really grow, develop in that way, and get them to this point. Sound mind, sound body.
Yeah,
right?
Sound mind, sound body.
I mean, both kids on both of those schools have come from those programs and come out of that program, and it's been able to help them excel. And it's really grown football in this city in a way that we see it and see it now. Going to the state championship game and winning state championships. I think both of those schools are favored to win it. I wouldn't be surprised if they both come home with a state title in a week.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
You know what it'd be good to see is that the rest of the city try to build off this. Now, what does happen is that Cass and King, they get the top talent, but you know.
You got your Centrals of the world.
And Central is the world.
Jimmy making over at Central.
So
doing big things.
It's starting to spill. It's starting to spill.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Some of that talent spill out, and you know, hopefully these other schools start making the PSL as competitive as it once was. And then, you know, it just won't be Cass King.
Right.
It'll be Cass King Central and such and such and such and such. So hopefully we can get back to that.
Hey, one last message on this. Basketball, catch up.
Catch up, basketball.
Catch up.
Catch up.
Yeah.
Hey.
Catch up.
Yeah. When you mentioned Sound Man, Sound Body, I'd be remiss not to mention Will Johnson and Samaj Morgan, both Michigan football players, but they did a turkey giveaway last weekend on the east side.
Oh, shout out to
Fed needy families through the Sound Man, Sound Body program. Shout out to Will. Shout out to Samaj Morgan, doing big things for the community and giving back to the community, and that's what it's all about.
Well, that was a great segue. You must have read the outline today.
A little bit.
So speaking of turkey, Thanksgiving coming up. Give me your top 5 Thanksgiving dishes that are must-have on that table come Thursday.
You
Want me to go first?
Yeah, you got the big family coming. You got the big family coming.
I once again, I would be remiss if I don't mention my cousin Donna and her peach cobbler. So the peach cobbler, the turkey dressing, and you'd be surprised, man. I got, you know, several vegetarians in my family, so we have veggie meat, which is pretty good. Meatballs, the vegetarian meatballs. So those 3, the mac and cheese, definitely the mac and cheese, and you know, we black folks, so fried chicken. There you go. You gotta have a chicken.
So the loaf just mentioned the veggie plates. Yeah, so I just got uninvited to his house. I just got uninvited. So for me, man, it's definitely, you know, give me dressing, macaroni and cheese. And if you know, a fried turkey hit the table, I'm in, and then you know, I'm asleep after that, and then I'll wake up and see what the rest of it is. You know, so I don't go 5. Right. You give me dressing, you know, a slice of that dirty bird fried up, man, and some macaroni and cheese, and I'm good to go.
And your shot of Tito.
That's the topper.
Give me your basics: turkey, dressing, not stuffing,
Not stuff.
Turkey, dressing, no stovetop, greens, macaroni and cheese, some sort of vegetable, some green beans or something like that, yams, gotta have my candy yams. And my grandmother had been making this dish. It's like a cranberry apple dish with granola on top, man. It's sort of a replacement for the cranberry sauce, man. So I love that. But give me the basics, man, and I'm good to go.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's coming, baby.
Hey, man. Get
that
You'd be surprised, man. I didn't know that were vegetarian meatballs, man. A couple of years ago, you know, give me some meatballs. I was chewing those boys. I was like, oh, these good. They was like, oh, you know, that's veggie. I was like, is it? Okay. So, yeah. Yep.
The things we learn.
Things we learn.
There you go, man.
Well, that's another episode of the Brown College Bruhz.
Boom, 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 boom.
This episode will be out in a few days, probably sometime after or around Thanksgiving. So if we don't see you, all of our listeners, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, and we are out.
Like and subscribe.
Peace.
We gone. Appreciate you.
Hit the like button.